Hi CM18 guide. Track is Hanshin 1600 meters. The check is going to be power. The Hanshin race course has a 400 meter downhill, so the width stat is going to be very important. Corner 3 to corner 4 of this track is the longest of any map in the game. Since it is difficult to secure overtakes, buying skills that activate at the early game, for example Mile Maven, Productive Plan, and or straightaway skills that have a half chance to proc in the early game is going to help with consistency and positioning. Every strategy has decently consistent acceleration on this track, so one of the win conditions that you can go for is to chase for corner 4 speed skills for speed carryover. For example, curvature, speed star, or no looking back for frontrunner, pace chaser, pumped for late surger and encloser. The width stat is also very important for this exact reason, because we are going to be on a downhill, and with the high width stats, you're going to get more chance of a downhill pacer mode. I believe that the ceiling of each strategy is relatively equal. Paces in general is easier to build because of the existence of Taiki Shuttle and Agnes Tachyon speed cards for their builds, but every strategy has their own high ceiling, and you can be strong on every strategy as long as your sparks are strong and your build is good. Here's my predicted strategy distribution. I predict that you're going to meet the most pace chasers in CM, followed by late surgers and then frontrunners. One of the strongest Umas of this CM is going to be Encloser Christmas Ogre. While it is strong, the time investment needed for Encloser Christmas Ogre makes it so only the sweatier players that are going for a high win rate is going to be building Encloser Christmas Ogres. But you don't have to worry about them being too popular in CM. The stat requirement is pretty standard, just 1100 power and 1100 wit, as well as at least 600 stamina. There is a 400 meter long downhill that you can roll downhill mode on and conserve stamina, so you don't have to worry about stamina. Just anywhere around 600 is going to be safe in conventional environments. For frontrunner, the required acceleration is going to only be angling and scheming, as well as Victoria for Plancha. The optional accelerations down here, there is now Second Wind, which is buffed on the 2nd anniversary update. It is 57.7% effective, so you can buy it if you come across it. There's also Final Push or Unrestrained, which is only 40.6% effective. But for example, you're on Runaway Suzuka, you have the gold skill, you can absolutely buy it for 40% chance of having a really strong excel. Here's the tier list for frontrunner. There's generally less frontrunners in the environment, so Saiyan Sky is back on the menu and can play solo front. If you're confident in your ability to make a strong frontrunner, feel free to send Saiyan Sky. She's going to be pretty strong considering the current CM environment with all the auto Umas running around. As always, Valentine Bourbon is going to be very strong. There's also Kopano Reki that requires an insane amount of effort, but with 6 greens as well as Turf A, you can definitely win with Kopa. Runaway Suzuka has been surprisingly performing really well in room matches. Runaway Suzuka can also play solo front, and with a properly built Runaway Ace Suzuka, you can pretty much block off angling and scheming all the time. Here is my recommended deck for frontrunners. I think Summer Marzensky is going to be, of course, a must. If your account does not have at least one LB Summer Marzensky and that you cannot borrow Taiki Shuttle, it's alright to just not play frontrunner as a whole. Summer Marzensky Top Runner, as well as Mile Maven here, both are incredibly strong and important skills for frontrunner to have if you are to build a frontrunner ace. I would value the skill point bonus 2 from Taki over the power bonus 1 and curvature from Kira-san Black. The Bourbon Wit, if you're not Valentine Bourbon herself, is going to be a must. Taking the lead and concentration are two very valuable hints and skills for mile races, and you will absolutely want both of them to secure the lead. The required acceleration for Pace Chaser is going to be as follows. These 1, 2, 3, 4 skills. Straight Descent is negotiable, and you can substitute it with Ignited Spirit Power or Angling and Scheming if you do get it. Tier list for Pace Chaser, National Flower, Taiki Shuttle, and Camping Taiki going to be the best 3. These 3 are strong. It's kinda difficult to do the secret event on Taiki or Camping Taiki. Wedding Air Groove is decently strong. You are recommended to bring Angling and Scheming on Wedding Air Groove. A Wedding Time Motion is cool to build, but is alright. Festival Rudolph had her unique skill reworked. and she now gives velocity entering the late game rather than giving velocity on the final corner. So it's really, really bad. It procs directly on top of the acceleration zone, and you practically get like little to no effect out of the unique skill. I do not recommend playing Festival Rudolph. The deck for Pin Chaser is going to be Taki, Speed Stick, Fine Motion for right-handed fall, as well as Speed Star, and then I recommend running Mr. CB Wit for 1 skill point bonus and Firepower. I think the borrow has to be Taiki Shuttle. Although there is the option of Power Daiwa Scarlet for neck and neck, I believe that Taiki Shuttle's Mal Maven and Hint 5 skills are simply too strong to pass up on. Plus, it's a speed card with skill point bonus rather than a power card. The late Surger required acceleration is going to be Budding Blossom as well as On Your Left. Leap Forward and Flowery Maneuver are 2 skills that are relatively difficult or rare to find out there, so I would substitute it for Pump Iron or Ignited Spirit Power. Regardless, picking 3 to 4 of these out of the 6 that are shown on screen is going to serve you pretty well. And remember when I talked about the acceleration zone and the speed carryover things. If you're running Leap Forward, it is recommended to run more corner skills and increase the chance of speed carryover going into the late game. You might be wondering why I didn't include the Downhill Speedster skill. I don't really recommend looping for the Downhill Speedster skill because it is only a 37.5% effectiveness rate. I'll leave it to you to decide if this 20% is worth it. The deck for Late Surger is gonna be something like this. Again, 3 speed to Wit, avoiding the Ruby Power card. I already talked about the Ruby Power, so I won't go too deep into it again. If you can afford it, you can go for Seeking the Pearl speed card for the Dauntless skill. For Umas with On Your Left, you can borrow Mr. CB Wit for extra skill point bonus, and also speed stats. Lates are alright. They're not incredibly consistent, but they're still strong and respectable. Enclosers. The required acceleration is going to be Iron, Blossom, and ideally also Flowery. There's not too many available accelerations, so I can get behind getting Lightning Surge. Now, if you're playing Encloser, it's probably going to be Encloser Chris's Ogre or Knighted Taishin, in which both of them have gold accelerations or an acceleration / speed carryover unique skill. So you usually won't need to worry about hitting max speed, as long as you have Straightaway Spurt and Leap Forward. Trace and Chair should also be on this list, although it's only 6th place to 9th place, which I don't really like. Here's a simple tier list for Encloser. Encloser Chris's Ogre is very consistent if she relies on the Asproc, so After School Stroll, as the 3rd recovery skill for her ult trigger. As for everyone else, it's just running down with Straightaway Spurt and Encloser Speed Coefficient. For Encloser deck, you at least run 2 speed, 2 wit. There is of course Mr. CB Wit that is usable from 1LB onwards. Now, I mentioned this in the Ruby video. You could go for the SSR Daiichi Ruby. With a power card in the main deck, the stat line is going to be incredibly inconsistent. Or you could just run a 3rd speed card, which stabilizes your stat line, and also just hit the Leap Forward skill through the inspiration. It's up to the player really, and I'll leave that decision for you. That's going to be it for this video. I am very close to 50k subs, so I would appreciate if you would drop a subscribe if you liked the video. This is Charles of Victoria Frontier. I'll see you guys in the next one.